Hey everybody, what's up? Matthew here. Thanks for checking into the channel. Look, I promise you this channel has not been hacked. This channel has not been compromised. No, I'm not going prosperity gospel or anything like that. But I do want to take a moment to talk about some basic financial fundamentals. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I have a son, I have a young daughter, I have another young daughter. I care about my kids, and I know for a fact that most of my viewers here on this channel are men. 83% are guys, 17% are women. And of those guys, there's a lot of guys that are young guys, age 20, age 30, age 40, etc. And so I want to have just a sit down fatherly talk with you about finances, because some of you are saying, yeah, but I'm so young, I don't care about finances, I don't care about retirement. I know that's the perfect time to actually start to care about retirement, because when you're young, let's say you're 20, like my son is 20, you have the most amount of years to actually do your real investing for the future. And if I can just press you to care just a little bit right now while you're 20 years old or 30 years old, trust me, you have time to save $1 million or more for retirement. And I know you say $1 million, that's like Monopoly money. That means you're a millionaire. Hold on a second. In today's economy, you're going to need to save quite a bit if you're going to live well into your later years. And if you want to be a father, if you want to have kids, if you want to have grandchildren, you've got to do some wise investing right now. So in this video, I'm not going to pretend that I'm some sort of financial guru. I am definitely not that. In fact, I'm not really even interested in money very much myself. But what I want to do is to press you to care just a little bit about your own self and your own future and your own kids and your own grandchildren. And for goodness sakes, your wife as well, especially as you get older, because we all get older. And that's the main thing here. If you're young, you've got time. So let me just show you how time can be your greatest advantage if I can just press you to do a little bit of saving right now. Okay, so what I'm going to pull up here on the screen is what's called a compound interest calculator. Now I'm using this one from nerdwallet.com. Okay, it's great, very simple, but I'm going to show you how this works. And once again, this does not consist of professional financial advice for you. I just want to talk about this for just a moment. So let's say you had $5,000, okay? And let's suppose that you're just going to leave that $5,000 for what it is. You're not going to do anything with it. You're going to stick it in a sock. You're going to put it under your bed. Well, 5 years later, here's your years of growth. It's going to be worth the same. $5,000 is going to be $5,000, except for probably inflation is going to eat that up. Well, what about in 45 years from now? 45 years from now, $5,000 is still going to be $5,000 unless you do something with it. And the thing that I'm going to press you to do is to start yourself a Roth IRA. Somebody better than me can explain all the tax benefits of that, but it's probably one of the better options if you're doing your individual savings for yourself. Let's say you don't have a pension or your company doesn't have a fancy investment thing for you. You can do this. Anybody can open a Roth IRA. And over 45 years, you're not going to make 0%. You're actually going to do better than that. And I'm going to put in some numbers here. I'm going to put in 9.75%. Now, why did I pick that number? Because that's over the last 20 years, that's the rate that's averaged for 20 years. So look at that. Now your $5,000 45 years later is $395,000. Why? Because of compound interest every year. Actually, let's switch this from monthly to annually. That's going to adjust the figures just slightly. Every year, that money that you're investing makes more, and then there's more to make more, if that makes sense. Okay, so watch this. Now, is that going to be enough to retire on? As great as that number sounds, probably not. You're going to probably need $1 million or two. I don't know, because things get expensive. If you're going to retire at 65 and you're going to live to 85, that means you've got 20 years that you've got to cover the gap where you don't have a job, right? Because retiring means you don't work anymore, but you're going to live after you retire maybe 10, 15, 20, maybe more years. So what are you going to do? You're going to need money to make money. That's how you're going to live. That's how people do it. That's how people survive and even thrive in their later years. Now, let's get a little bit fancy here, because that's assuming that you got 5,000 and you're age 20 and you've got a bunch of years till you retire. I want to press you to try to get $10,000 as quickly as you can saved in your Roth IRA, not just in a savings account. Okay, savings accounts aren't going to do a lot for you. Okay, your little checking account, your savings account, that's great because you need that for emergency money when your car breaks down, but it's not going to make you money over time. You've got to invest that, okay? So that 10,000, if I can press you to do this, if the market hits 9 point 8.75, maybe it doesn't, maybe it underperforms, maybe it only hits 7.75, but still look, your $5,000 is a lot more than if you stick it in a sock drawer or some generic savings account, okay? So let's put it back up to what I hope is a realistic rate for all of us, because I'm banking on this too. All right, I'm trusting in this as much as I'm, as much as you are. Ultimately, our confidence is in the Lord. But watch what happens here if you could save $100 every month, okay? If you could just put $100 into this, now we're talking some big money. Now we're talking more than $1 million in savings here for your lifetime. That's really good. But let's suppose that you're not 20 years old. Maybe you're 30 years old. You're 30 years old, and so you've got 35 years instead of 45 years. Well, that's going to cost you. If you're starting late, you're not going to be able to do as well because you need those extra years. Some people talk about this factor that your money basically doubles every 7 years or so. And so you need the time, which is why, again, young guys, I'm pressing you, I'm imploring you, I'm pleading with you for the sake of your wife, your children. Get started as young as you possibly can, okay? So there's that. So if you have less time, you've got only 35 years, or let's say you only have 25 years until you retire. Now, this is a little bit more like me. Now, 10,000 isn't my number. I'm doing a little bit better than that, praise God. But if I only had 25 years left, and again, we're assuming 9.75%, that could be all over the board, to be honest. What could I do to benefit myself? Well, maybe instead of $100 a month, what I need to do is I need to be putting in $400 a month. Or maybe what I need to do is put in $500 a month. Or I might even need to really ramp up and put in $1,000 a month. But again, I'm doing my later self a favor by investing in this way, okay? So again, just to review, $10,000 initial deposit. You've got 25 years of growth, or 30 or 40 or whatever you have. This is the X factor here, the estimated rate of return, because I don't know and you don't know. Nobody can predict this. But the one thing you do know is that time is in your favor. And the more you can do monthly, then again, the better you are going to be in the long run. Now, let me show you another tool. Again, I'm going to go to NerdWallet, and they have here what's called a retirement calculator. This is more complicated, and you can play with these numbers a little bit if you want to, but you can really get fancy here and see how well you're going to do in your retirement. You're going to put in your age, you're going to put in your basic income, how much you currently have in savings, what you're doing every month, what you hope to make every month when you retire. And then you can even get even fancier than that, and you can put in these other details down here, such as your estimated age of retirement. Now, this is going to matter. So if you're going to retire at 67, then you're going to have less money than if you retired at 75. But there's the gamble. Are you really going to be able to work until you're 75? Nobody really knows that. And here's another one, your life expectancy. Can you live to 95, or are you going to die maybe at 79 years old? Well, all of that is going to skew the data. But the best thing that you can do, honestly, the most you can do, is you can try to plan for the future for the sake of your wife and for the sake of your children, okay? So going back to that simple calculator here for just a little bit, if I could do anything in this video is to press you to open up a basic Roth IRA. I'm not advertising for anybody, but it could be Roth, it could be Schwab, it could be any Roth. It could be Fidelity, it could be Schwab, it could be any one of those. Doesn't matter. Get $10,000 in the bank as young as you can. Let it multiply for as many years as you can. Let's hope that you got 45 years if you're 20 years old and watching this video. If you did that and you put in $1,000 a month, oh, you're a definite millionaire by that point, and you're probably going to retire very, very well. All right. Well, thanks for checking into this video. No, I'm not prosperity gospel. No, I'm not consumed with money. You don't need to critique me like that in the comments. I'm just trying to tell you, especially if you're young, get started in savings. It's your best way to move forward. Thanks for checking in. Love you lots. Talk to you later.